When you don't have time for all those facts, all those truths, here's just one. When you don't have an hour free and you need to be informed, take a listen to today's Morning Moment, coming up right now. It's 11:45 Eastern. It's time for A Radio's Morning Moment.
You're listening to A Radio.
Thank you for joining us. You're listening to A Radio, and this is the Morning Moment. Follow us on Spreaker.com and click on the like button. You can find us on most social media platforms such as iTunes, Spotify and iHeartRadio. Go to our website, aradio.wordpress.com, for details, where you'll find more content and details on our podcasts and more. Just a bit of housekeeping before we start. We are working on improving the sound quality, but it's going to take some time. We know what the technical problem is and we're dealing with it as quickly as we can. This is a piece that was directed my way, and it's to do with the Green New Deal. Now, I've covered this before, but they like to call it GND. The problem is that the piece itself is not new. As I said, it was already floated, the idea that is, by the British Labour Party in the last British general election. Details of the deal first came out in the UK. We, in fact, covered this in February and March of 2019. I went into some detail of where the Green New Deal came from. Please look it up. It's not American at all. It's British, unfortunately. The pieces are episode 513, Green New Deal, Whose? And Sunday Morning Futures, Green New Deal, and Everything. And finally, Green Party Exposed. Now that one's particularly interesting because it goes and explains what happens when some of the policies are actually implemented, and they were starting to implement it in Ireland. That piece is principally about that, and if you put all those three together, that'll give you a feeling for what the Green New Deal really is about. However, having said all that, please go and read this piece. It comes from heartland.org. It's entitled World Leaders' Great Reset Plan for Global Economy is the Green New Deal on Steroids. Now, they go into great detail about the current contenders for vice president candidate for the Democrats and links to the Green New Deal, including the one who was picked. They also talk about CNN and how much time they devoted on this subject. But the part that really caught my eye was this bit, and it's only part of a paragraph, and then I've taken a few other pieces out. You may just miss it, but here it is. But in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic and the massive expansion of government power that has come from it, left-wing leaders have rallied around the new idea, one that's even more overtly socialistic than the Green New Deal, and, because of its global nature, more dangerous. It's called the Great Reset, and although it's yet to gain significant media attention outside of a few mainstream media outlets, it will soon. Scary words, I think. The words Great Reset. Maybe, if you haven't heard it before, I heard this the other day on the Glenn Beck Show. I'm just going to play a little trailer for you from the Glenn Beck Show, August 12, 2020, so you can hear for yourself, and I urge you all to check this out.
Tonight on Glenn TV, the plan to destroy capitalism and reshape the world.
Now is the time.
They're calling it the Great Reset.
The Great Reset?
Great Reset. To shape the system for the post-corona era.
Glenn exposes the global elite's plot to usher in their brave new world.
We have to change our economies dramatically.
Fundamental to building the future we need.
And fights back against the left's march towards fascism. Tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, only at blazetv.com/Glenn.
It is going to be an incredible hour of television that you will not see anywhere else. And, you know, the good thing about being a listener of this program, you're never surprised. You're never surprised by what's around the corner, especially when the left is concerned, because we are ahead of it. This is something you're going to start hearing. They're already talking about the Great Reset. There is no return to normal. It's a new normal, but it is going to be called the Great Reset, and we'll tell you all about it and who's behind it and what their plans are. Coming up tonight at 9 p.m. If you're not a member of the Blaze TV, you need to be. Go to blazetv.com.
So there you have it. Now I'm going back to this piece again. This is another part of it. Quote, "The Great Reset is a proposal to completely alter the entire global economy, moving it more toward collectivism and away from capitalism," which is free market economy. That's a socialist word for free market economy, capitalism. According to its most ardent supporters, the purpose for the Great Reset is threefold. 1. Repairing the global economic damage caused by coronavirus. 2. Stopping the coming climate change catastrophe. Well, who says? And 3. Using two previously mentioned crises as the opportunity to advance socialist ideals, including the destruction of capitalism and individual rights. In an article published on the World Economics Forum website, WEF, founder and executive Klaus Schwab said the world must act jointly and swiftly to revamp all aspects of our societies and economies, from education to social contracts and working conditions. Every country from the United States to China must participate, and every industry from oil and gas to tech must be transformed, Schwab added. In short, we need a great reset of capitalism. Now here's another paragraph I want to read to you. Sharon Burrow, the General Secretary of the International Trade Union Confederation, who even knew that existed, it's called the ITUC, said we need to use the present crisis to help, quote, rebalance the global economy. We need to design policies to align with investment in people and the environment, unquote. Burrows said, quote, but above all, the longer-term perspective is about rebalancing the economies. There's much more in that piece that I've not read, and you need to read it. But that should scare anybody. These people, who are these people? And that's Schwab, Klaus Schwab. Now, I don't know if he's connected to the investment company Schwab. I have no idea. But who is this guy? I've no doubt he's made a ton of money somewhere, and it's just like Prince Charles, who goes on about all this stuff. These people are completely fireproof, but they're not. That's the mistake they're making. If we have a global reset, it's not only a reset of economies, it's a reset of currencies. And that caused the Nazi uprising, when the German currency became worthless overnight and people were wheeling wheelbarrows around of cash to buy a loaf of bread. And the upshot of that was Nazism. None of us want that. Now, as I said, this is just part of the piece, but I'll remind you what Soros said in January of this year when he said Trump has no idea what's coming. He actually said that on MSNBC, I believe it was, or CNBC, one of those two. But for some reason, he had an idea. How did he have an idea, ladies and gentlemen? How did he know what was coming when no world leader, according to all records, knew anything about what was coming, had any inclination what we were all facing? But Soros knew. How? This is not a conspiracy theory, it's a fact. In Canada, Trudeau is both in bed politically with the UN and Soros, and so are the Democrats. Unfortunately, this has never been discussed with the Canadian population as far as Green New Deals. But it appears that Trudeau has plans in the same direction as Biden. No one ever voted for this. And I don't think Americans will vote for this. No politician has the right to change a country without putting all the details to its citizens. And yet, the American citizen is being asked to vote for a party that not only embraces a Green New Deal, but everything else that goes with it. I wonder how many Americans have any idea at all, how they are being conned out of their own country. And I wonder whether Democrats even know the full ramifications. I'll bet you not, because the socialists would want to keep everybody in the dark as long as possible until it was a fait accompli. Just like they thought they could impeach Donald Trump, and they got caught. And let's all hope they get caught again, this time, for all our sake. And that's my comment. You can find more at aradio.wordpress.com, where you can find links to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Gab, Parler, Spotify, and email. We are continuing to reach out to you, so please pass these links on to your friends. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. You can listen to all our morning moments at Spreaker.com/A-Radio. That's EHRADIO, a radio. And please click on the like button. Join us Monday, Wednesday and Friday, 11:45 Eastern, for our morning moment or tweak. And tell your friends, pass the word. We only tell the truth, not what the Canadian mainstream media want you to know. This time, more than any in history, we all need to trust but verify.